Anastasiia Medianovska with the topic Corporate Governance as a Mindset. Nastya, please come.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Anastasiia Medianovska, and I would like to take with you a journey to corporate governance world today. So, Walmart, Toyota, State Grid, Apple, what do these companies have in common? They're enormous. The biggest companies in the world, with more than 200 billion in revenues, hundreds of thousands of employees, shareholders, and other interested persons. How do these giants and all other big corporations manage to work efficiently? My answer is corporate governance. It is a glue that ties all the persons involved in the same business, because its main goal is to align interests of shareholders, management, employees, society, and so on. And this particular approach in organizing businesses and processes has facilitated investors' lives and helped to spread investment activity globally. But corporate governance is like health. We do not talk much about it when it's good, but it is on everyone's lips when something goes wrong. Many well-known scandals have its roots in corporate governance, like Wells Fargo, Toshiba, FIFA, and Enron. And the failures of corporate governance are always followed by shareholders being angry and share price declines. Imagine that mistake of one person in big corporation might mean thousands of people losing jobs and investors losing billions of dollars. Good corporate governance may help, and you may ask me, what is a good corporate governance? Is it internal rules or corporate law or maybe penalties? Do you think that one person in jail can make it up to hundreds of shareholders wanting revenge? If you look further, the appropriate motivation and right distribution of powers is the basis which helps to prevent the mistakes. However, motivation and powers is something intangible and tailor-made for each company. It's like you cannot compare corporate governance at Nestle with their classical Swiss model with Berkshire Hathaway, where one person is CEO, major shareholder, and chairman, but both companies are doing good. Therefore, you cannot enforce corporate governance as such, but rather define principle, best practices, and organizational model. At the very end, goals of corporate governance are the same for every country, industry, and organization. It is to make everyone equally happy. And even though corporate governance is regarded as a pure finance concept, it can be used beyond the business world, because this is the language which can be understood by everyone, even if the story, especially when the story is bad. And it can be also applied to express many things. If you think about corporate governance at schools, churches, or even family, that would be a fresh view, but not necessarily a useless one. Because realizing one's role in any kind of social unit helps to identify the problems. Let me make you an example. A service provider with 20-year history has more than 90 billion in revenues and 20 billion in gross profit. Its business has good potential, but something goes wrong all the time. Its board is not really independent because most of its members are company suppliers for years. Its executive management is not professional because CHRO has never served in HR department and chief legal officer has never studied law. Managers are compensated poorly and their motivation has never been long-term. Compliance function doesn't do its job properly because they never criticize board or management. Company is very slow with innovations and has difficult times attracting and retaining talents. Shareholders feel that they have no powers to change the way it goes now. So half of them do not even come to shareholder meeting. Does anyone want to invest in such company? knowing the consequences of corporate governance failure, none would like to. And what is interesting is that everyone in this room understands that, even if they have nothing to do with finance. But you can also imagine that most of us are already shareholders of this company. Us and other 40 million people around that cannot sell it off because this hypothetical company is our country and we are its shareholders to some extent. Many people say there is no comparison between private and public sector and non-profit organization, but I'm the kind of person who is telling that corporate governance stories to my family and friends, and I can see that it really works. My father started using motivational tips to my sister. My aunt changed her attitude to politics, and my grandmother started asking her priest where the church spent all the donations. So with a bit of imagination, you can see many situations from corporate governance point of view. At the very end, a proper mindset is equally important for companies, organizations, countries, and even day-to-day life. And I wish that everyone can learn this language of corporate governance because it may help shareholders of any country, organization, and any type of social unit realize their roles, claim their rights, and use their powers. I think that future of finance is finance for everyone. It's not always about formulas, not about exchange rate or valuation model. It's about our views. And future of finance is not anymore possible without bilateral development of finance professionals and overall society. Society should learn from finance, and finance should learn from society. Why not to start with corporate governance? Thank you.